Oh man, did you breathe while serving your toddler dinner? Or maybe you gave them the red plate instead of the blue plate. Disaster. Toddler mealtime meltdowns are a thing. Today I've got 5 quick tips to help you lessen those toddler tantrums during dinner. So obviously we all know we want to avoid toddler tantrums during dinner as much as possible because we want them to eat, and it's also quite unpleasant for us. Toddlers want to feel independent and powerful, which presents many challenges in day-to-day life because often what they want to do the most, they don't have the skills to master by themselves yet. So what happens is we as the adults who are bigger and wiser often have to guide them in their doing, which means we stop them from running in the road. When they don't want to go in the car seat, we buckle them in anyway. If they're breaking a toy, we take the toy away. Now, obviously, these are well-meaning and often very necessary things that we're doing because we're teaching them the rules of life. But what happens if we look back on how our toddler is viewing this experience is that they can feel quite disempowered, and that is, having power is the very thing that their little brains are so thirsty for. What do toddlers have control over? I've seen this time and time again in therapy that when a child is feeling very disempowered, they begin to act up in the 2 areas that they do have control over, which are toileting and eating. Now, I know when our toddlers are power seeking during meals, it can be really challenging for us. But we have to remember that developmentally, this is actually a good thing. They are learning to associate themselves as an individual, and by doing that, they're taking small steps to be a responsible adult. What does this mean? Does this mean that we need to give in to all of our toddlers' demands at dinner? No, definitely not. We don't want to become short order cooks or be controlled by small little tyrants. We want to take steps forward in empowering our toddlers during meal times by allowing a measure of independence within a firm, established boundary. So here are those 5 tips. The first tip is being intentional about allowing choices. So this, by giving a choice, we allow our toddler to feel a sense of ownership and participation within dinner time. And this is especially relevant for kids that are, say, 2 years old and have a bit of a speech delay because they can't really express yet what they're wanting. So what a choice looks like is, would you like the red plate or the blue plate? What it doesn't look like is, oh, okay, so you don't like what I cooked, so what do you want then? I'll make something new. What it looks like is, would you like to sit on the yellow cushion or the pink cushion? It doesn't look like, oh, fine, you don't want to sit at the table, so what do you want? To sit in front of the TV on the couch and eat your dinner? Help make transitions into mealtime a little bit easier. Transitions are notoriously a hard time for kids because of their mental flexibility. So you can help make that transition easier by getting them involved in the process of making dinner. So helping you cook, helping you set the table, helping you serve out the food or pour the water. I know that sounds like a big step, but trust me, it is possible. You might also want to bring your meal times forward just a little bit because that witching hour is always so challenging for kids, and if they're overtired and overhungry, it's going to be a lot harder to get that transition going smoothly. Realistic expectations on mealtime cleanliness and table manners. Now, I know that none of us really enjoy the part of the meal that we have to clean everything afterwards and clean our toddler, but we have to realize that messy eating is a realistic expectation for toddlers' age and stage. Some studies have pointed out that having unrealistic expectations on children for table manners actually aggravates picky eating. So what does this mean? We just let our toddlers eat like a caveman for the rest of their days? No, obviously not. We want to teach them manners, but at the right time. So while they're learning to use a spoon or drink from a cup without spilling, we have to be patient and we have to allow for that development. Remember, this activity of eating is actually a really important developmental learning time for toddlers. They're learning fine motor skills. They're learning how different textures feel inside their mouth. They're learning to chew. They're learning to use their tongue in the right way. They're learning to keep stuff inside of their mouths. Those are really important skills developmentally if we want our children to grow to be able to eat a wide variety of different and healthy foods. No begging, bribing, or coaxing. So, studies have actually shown that by begging, bribing, punishing, coaxing our children during meal times, we actually cause picky eating. How do we get away from that? If you haven't already, I want you to check out my video on our emotions as moms during meal times. I'll link it above here. So, what is this healthy dynamic between parent and toddler during a mealtime actually look like? It looks like saying, okay, here's your meal with a side of fruit, and not saying, if you finish all your dinner, then you'll get dessert. Your tummy full? Have you had enough to eat? And try avoid saying, just have one more spoon. You can try saying, here's your pasta and your carrots, and try avoid saying, if you don't eat all your carrots, then there's no pasta and you go to bed hungry. Lighten the mood. Now, I know it can be really hard during that witching hour where everyone, including yourself, is a little bit hangry, but try and maintain or at least be mindful of your own sense of calm during meal times. The interaction that we have with our kids as they're eating can either make them want to eat or kind of discourage them from the mealtime. When your toddler is laughing and smiling and feeling connected to you, they're more likely to focus on the act or the task of eating. Maybe it's finding the monkeys in the broccoli tree or exaggerating those yummy sounds. Invite your toddler to engage with you as you sit and enjoy a meal together. So, have you experienced some epic toddler tantrums during dinner? I would love to hear the story. Did you cut the bread wrong, or did you put the plate down instead of up? Leave me a comment